Do you know that when it comes to learning disabilities, teachers have a role to play? Do you know that there are some classroom management that as a teacher, if you put in place, it will make the work easier for you? Hello guys, welcome to my channel. Today we are going to look at some of the classroom strategies that you can put in place to help children with learning disabilities. But before we go on, please, if you are watching me and you have not yet subscribed, do well to subscribe. Comment for me, very important. Like and share this video. Sharing the video will help someone out there to also learn, just as you are also learning. First thing you need to consider as a teacher is the classroom environment. Is the environment noisy? When we talk of noise, it's not just about talking and all that, but also in terms of visual noise. Do you have a lot of things there that distracts the child's attention? Do you have certain things that are not learning related or that are not related to what you are teaching? Take those things out of the environment and make sure that whatever is in the environment at that time is about what you are teaching, so that the child does not get distracted. If you write this and the learners are done with it, clean it so that the learner can focus. Don't leave it there and then go and write another thing somewhere. You create a lot of disturbances for the child with learning disability. The sitting position, is it helping the child? You can see the blackboard very well. So you need to do that with the child. You don't have to be the one say, hey, come and sit here. Let the child also say, when I sit here, I'm able to see the board very well. When I sit here, I'm able to hear what you are saying very well. When I sit here, I'm able to see you very well, because some of them, they would love to look into your eyes while you are talking, you are teaching, so that they can understand or get a concept you are teaching. So the classroom arrangement and the environment is very important. So when you are writing on the board, teachers, please make sure that you write boldly and clearly. As you write on the board, verbalize what you are writing, so that they will know that you wrote there. You wrote man, you wrote this. Do you get? Next thing you should never do as a teacher is never use the child's work as an example of poor work in the classroom. And so you are teaching and you want to give an example of a poor work. Then you call the child, like Kwame's work. Kwame did not spell well. Kwame failed the math. Instead of Kwame to do this, he rather did this and that. No. When you do that, you kill their confidence. When you do that, you make them go through a lot of emotions, depressions. And they are in the classroom all right, but they will never pay attention to whatever you are teaching. And the whole day, they will not learn anything, because they are going through a lot of thought. One of the things you can do is to excite their curiosity. Let them be curious. Hey, what are we going to learn? Instead of making them feel like, hey, this subject is difficult. Hey, as for math is difficult. So the moment you enter the class, they are shaking. They are afraid. They will not learn anything. Those days kind of teaching pass. A teacher comes to class and you are already afraid, because already the idea is math is difficult. And the teacher is also coming to the class with some kind of attitude, facial expression, no excitement. Excite the child's interest. Next week, we are going to learn math. And this math, we are going to learn the math with pineapples. We are going to learn the math with oranges. So all of you come to school with oranges and bananas, and they'll be like, hey, learning math with pineapples, learning math with bananas, how is this going to be like? The child will be interested in knowing how he or she is going to learn math with bananas that he has been eating all the time. Do you get it? Also, use different assessment methods to assess learners with learning disabilities. It shouldn't be one way that every learner or every student in the class must write the answer. Sometimes they say that the teacher in the class will say, okay, all of you pick pen and your books, define matter, write it, I'll come round to check. If the learner has a problem with dysgraphia and dyslexia, then you should know that he or she is going to struggle with writing it. Allow him or her to verbally give what the answer. So teachers, it is high time you stop using certain subjects as a measure of intelligence, such as math, English, science. You only see learners who perform well in math, English, and science as intelligent. And you see learners who perform well in arts, creativity, other areas as poor or as blockheaded. It is high time you stop that. When it comes to measuring intelligence of a child, it is not just about English, it is not just about math, it's not just about science. If the child can draw, the child is intelligent. If the child can lace his shoe, the child is intelligent. If the child can speak, the child is intelligent. If the child can sweep, the child is intelligent. If the child can arrange, the child is intelligent. So when you are assessing the intelligence of the child, look at all these areas. There are certain learners, they are not good in math, but put before them computer and they will function very well with IT. That is them also. Also in the classroom, learn to congratulate effort instead of the result. Don't focus so much on the result. The child is making an effort to read. It's making an effort to write. It's making an effort to solve this math problem or math formula. Congratulate him or her instead of focusing on the result. Yes, he made the effort, but the result wasn't good. Don't focus on that. Focus on the effort and then congratulate him and encourage him to do more. Also, as a teacher, learn to develop scoring guide and share with them. You know, in our part of the world, the sad thing is that most teachers, or let me say some, let me not say most, some teachers take interest in the fact that they set questions and the child was not able to answer. Or as for me, my questions are hard, or as for me, my questions are difficult. And so when they're able to give you exams questions or quizzes or tests and you fail, you are not able to get a pass mark, they are happy. It is not right. There is nothing wrong even discussing the questions with them, that these are the questions coming. Let's discuss them and let me know the answers you have in mind and be sure that you are prepared. At the end of the day, there are lots the child is learning. And so if you don't try to have a frame where the child can focus, okay, this is the area the questions are going to come from, so let me focus on that, and you expect the child go and learn everything, you are not helping the child. Also, when it comes to giving instructions in the classroom, teachers, please be clear and specific with your instructions. If you want the child to do a quality work, don't just say make sure you do a quality work or make sure you do a good work. Let the child know what goes into doing a quality work. Be specific in those areas so that when the child is working, he will take all those things into consideration. But you just tell the child, make sure you do a quality work. And the child, what he or she has done is a quality work, but the child will bring and then you will dismiss it. You are not helping the child. And still the child doesn't know what's goes into doing a quality work. You are not helping the child at all. And also being specific with your instructions also includes if you want the child to do this A before doing B, be specific. However you want the child to carry out that task, be specific with dates. Let them repeat what you told them. Kofi, repeat. Kofi, what did I say? Sir, you said I should do A before I go to B, before I go to C. Sir, you said I should write my name before the date, before the topic. Or if not, you go and come and realize that Kofi has done something different. Do you get it? And sometimes the instructions, instead of just verbalizing them, you can also write it step by step for them, or engage them to write. And also use something we call task analysis to teach difficult concepts or any concept at all you are teaching the child with learning disabilities. Use task analysis. When we talk of task analysis, it's about breaking tasks into smaller bits for the child. And so from step 1, the child will go to step 2. Also, as a teacher, learn to start from the known to the unknown. Things that are familiar with the child, make sure you start from that. Also use real examples. familiar examples. If you are citing examples, make sure that the examples are things the child is used to. And so we have this alphabet that children recite: A for apple, B for ball, and all that. How many children in our public schools eat apple? It's even possible that there are some children in our public school, they have not even seen apple with their eyes to even touch it and feel it. They see the apple in books. So why not use something that is familiar to the child? A for Ama. Every child in the basic school knows the name Ama. B for Banku. There's nothing wrong with that. Use the things that are familiar to the child so that the child can quickly what? Remember. So when a child remembers Banku, he knows that Banku is for B. When a child remembers Ama, he knows that Ama is for A. Also, as a teacher, learn to focus on the learning style of the learner. Don't box them into one thing and say that, hey, this is the way you should learn. No, some are auditory learners, some are visual learners, some are tactile learners, some are a mixture of this. Do you get it? So get to know the learning style of the child and then use appropriate TLMs. Use TLMs that are appropriate to the child's needs. Some children are visual learners, so use pictures, diagrams. Use those TLMs more than talking too much. Some learn better when they learn in groups. Me, for instance, that is one thing about me. As much as I will find time to do my personal reading, I always prefer learning with others. Do you get it? So get to know their learning style. Also focus on their strengths and not their weakness. Yes, he has dyslexia, he has dysgraphia. Yes, he's struggling with dyscalculia, but he's good at arts. He's good when it comes to painting. He's good when it comes to needlework. He's good when it comes to this. Focus on that and then build on that strength. The truth is, we can't know it all. Some will be good at this and some will be good at this area. And so where the child is good at, focus on it and encourage the child to do more. Another important thing a teacher needs to know is avoid putting a child on the spot and asking them questions. If you want the child to answer questions, don't call Kofi, stand up. What is matter? Explain matter. Kofi might know the answer, but because you called him, out of fear, he will not be able to answer you. So instead of doing that, the learners be and then ask the question generally. So like, okay, class, what is matter? I'm giving you 1 minute for you to put your thought together, and then when you are ready, raise your hand and tell me what matter is. Do you get it? When you do that, Kofi can sit down, put his thought together, and then be ready, and he himself will raise his hand and say, sir, you call him to answer. Another method you can also use is that after you have said that, then after 1 minute you can say, Kofi, do you want to try? Kwame, do you want to try? Don't say, Kofi, stand up, give me the answer. No. Do you want to try? If Kofi says no, let him be. Let another student who is ready to try to try. Also, define classroom expectations for work and behavior, and you can engage the children in defining those expectations. What do you think we should do when we come to class? The children can say, when we come to class, we should all sit down quietly. When we want to answer questions, we should all raise our hands. When one person is talking, the other people should keep quiet. Let them also be part of it so that they can feel responsible. If you give them work, class work or assignments, define the expectation, what you expect them to do in this assignment or in this work. This is what I expect you to do, and be clear with it. Also, learn to give extra time to children with learning disabilities. You know that the child is already struggling with reading, struggling with writing, struggling with math. And so you give the whole class time that, hey, this math, all of you should finish in the next 5 minutes. Add extra time for the child with learning disabilities. Do you get it? And then also extra time in explaining concepts to the child. Sometimes in the classroom, they don't understand anything. They have a lot going on in their minds. Do you all understand? They all say, yes, sir, I understand. But he himself doesn't understand anything. But because his colleagues are saying they understand, he will also join the chorus and say, yes, sir. And so extra time where you can take the child outside the classroom and then explain to the child. Sometimes too, you can pair the child with his colleagues who are good in those areas the child is struggling with. Sometimes, because you are a teacher and he sees you as an authority above him, he finds it difficult to voice out or even to relax psychologically to understand what you are saying. But the moment the child realizes that, oh, my friend is the one teaching me, he can voice out and ask questions. He can be relaxed. That is why it is not right to group all learners with learning disabilities in the same classroom. I remember back in JSS, in our time it was JSS, what the school did, which did not help most of us, was grouping all the learners who are academically good, brilliant in one class, and then comes to the average, and then to those who are not good academically, those who have learning disabilities and struggling with academics, group them in one class with the intention that because you are in this poor class or this low class, you will do well, you'll be forced to do well so that you'll be moved to the brilliant class or the average class. It was one of the worst decisions the teachers took. And so the best thing to do is to put them together. Don't segregate them. Don't segregate them. Let them all learn together and learn from those who are brilliant, because every child has something to teach their colleagues, okay? One of the ways you can encourage the child to learn vocabularies is to attach list of words to their books so that when they open the books, they will know, okay, these words, so that they can what? They can learn them with time. Do you get? Have keywords displayed in the classroom. The more they see those words, the more they get a mental picture of it, the more they become used to it, and the spellings becomes easy for them. When it comes to reading, majority of us, we know how to read because we are familiar with the words. We know how to spell because you are familiar with the words. Words that you are not familiar with, no matter how good you are, when it comes to spellings, you might get it wrong because you are not familiar with that word. Do you get it? But the more you come into contact with that word and you become familiar with it, you get to know how it is pronounced and how it is spelled. Also, avoid repeating them. This time the learner didn't do well, so I'm repeating you. You only repeat a learner with learning disabilities in the same classroom if you have interventions in place for the learner. You do not have anything new you are going to do to help the child to do better, to succeed in academics, then don't repeat the child. Repeat only when you know you have new ways or new skills that you are going to use to help the learner in the classroom. But if it's going to be the same thing over and over, you are not helping the learner at all. Also, as a teacher, learn to model what you want the child to know or what you want the child to do. Do you get it? Instead of always talking. Once you are doing it, they get a mental picture of it and it sticks. As a teacher, also learn to give timely feedback. When they do assignments, exams, or classwork, make sure you mark it very quick and then bring it to them for them to know where they went wrong and where they were good at. And then also don't just give it to them and leave them. Call them and discuss their weakness with them and encourage them on what they need to do to do well next time. So when you ask questions in class and the child is answering and the child is giving the correct answer, give feedback. Let your facial expression, everything shows that yes, you are doing it. Keep on, don't give up. Do you get it? But if the child is giving wrong answers, be very careful with your facial expressions and your body language so that you don't discourage the child from what? From trying. Also in the classroom, avoid using too much punishment and rather focus on rewarding good behavior. If the child is always making noise and being hyperactive in class, but today came to school and is comporting himself, reward that behavior. Any efforts, little efforts that the child puts in to do good or to do well in class, reward it. And it is also very important to allow them record lessons in the classroom. In our part of the world here, it is very difficult for teachers to allow learners to record, but you can give preference to learners with learning disabilities to do audio recording, because sometimes when they go back and they play what you said in class, it helps them a lot. It helps them to revise and understand certain things you say. So allow them, if possible, to do audio recording. If not possible, make sure you give them reading materials. Not all of them will be good at copying notes from the blackboard. So instead of expecting them to always copy notes from the blackboard, why not give them the notes in a printing form? This point that I'm going to give, I know it might not be possible in most of our public schools because you don't have the resources, but private schools with enough resources can apply this. Encourage learners with dysgraphia to use the computer to write. Computer will also help those with dyslexia to learn correct spellings and all that, because when they type and it's underlined wrong, they will click on it to know the right spelling so that they will learn. So reduce your expectations in the classroom. Stop expecting too much from the child with learning disabilities and just work with their pace, and with time they will get it. Avoid the use of big words in the classroom. You want the child to understand concepts. Use words that are within his reach, that he can easily understand, he can easily grasp. Do you get it? Don't be using too much big words because other learners in the classroom are okay with it. You think he should also be okay with it. The last point you are going to consider today is avoid sarcasm. Avoid using their mistake, laughing and making jokes and teasing here and there, because they take everything personal. You might think that, oh, you are just playing, you are just joking. They take it seriously and it affects them emotionally. It will affect them in the classroom. They will never be able to pay attention in the classroom. So these are few points I said let me share with you today. Please, if you have some, also you can leave them in the comment section. Share your thoughts with me. Share this video for others to learn. Like this video also. Thanks so much. Have a blessed day. Bye bye.